The God of War franchise has come far. Very far. And before you start asking, yes, I have played God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. And no, I'm not a wizard. Anymore. Join me in this 5-year-long journey to relive this great franchise. Yeah, I said 5 years. Each year, starting with this year, I'm going to talk about each one of the 5 games in the main story of God of War. I talk about the PSP games, but I don't own those. I do have Ascension, but I have not played Ascension, so I'm not going to count Ascension. Why over the next 5 years? Because everyone and their mother always scramble to talk about these things the second they come out, and I don't wanna. And because I believe that the true testament of maintaining greatness is proving that you can maintain that greatness through the years. I don't think we have to wait 5 years for me to go ahead and say that, yes, I believe God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok will both be just as fantastic 4 and 5 years from now as they were when I first played them. Plus, you gotta give things time to truly set those nostalgic roots in your brain.
And strangle you.
No! This is not a review. I'm just a guy with fond memories. I was actually very excited for this game the moment I heard they were making it. I like Greek stuff, but more importantly, I like mythology. I like Greek gods, Egyptian gods, Norse gods, South American gods, blood gods, disease gods, god emperors, and all his sons. I was so excited to be able to play as the Greek god of war, Ares. And then I was equally more excited to find out that you don't play as Ares, you play as Kratos, and you murder Ares. The game begins 3 weeks prior to Kratos casting himself off the highest cliff in all of Greece, in the Aegean Sea, fighting zombies, and the Hydra. Just before you're about ready to face the Hydra for the final time and kill him for realsies, you are stopped by Poseidon, who gives you his power and tells you to go forth in the name of Olympus. Kratos kills the Hydra in the angriest way possible, and then you kill the fisherman for the first time, and then you fail to save some innocent people. Right away I realized that Kratos probably had some kind of shady backstory that would make me possibly sympathize with him or understand why he's so fucking mad all the time. Well, it's not wrong. On the boat ride to Athens, I was treated to my first pair of titties in a video game. No, I'm not going to show you that. I'm probably just going to cover it up and censor all the boobies in this game with the pictures of Gary Busey or some shit. He has a nightmare and he goes above deck to talk to a statue of Athena who tells him he'll be forgiven if he completes his final task. He arrives in the harbor, and yes, you can plow the chicks for some extra XP. Not gonna show you that. Whatever necromancer raised these zombies from the dead to fight you in the first place clearly learned his lesson from the Aegean Sea and the Hydra, because now all the zombies have armor. Most of the zombies do anyways, and they've learned some new tricks. Well, it doesn't matter for long, because I got some red sex orbs to upgrade my stuff. Like that other hack and slash game that was supposed to be Resident Evil 4 originally. Huh, don't worry. I'll talk about them sometime. Now we finally get to kill some mythological creatures that I was familiar with at the time. Minotaurs, Cyclopses, and Gorgons. Each one of them has a way that you can kill them in an epic fashion. The Minotaurs give you health if you kill them like this, and the Medusas, the Gorgons, give you mana. And when you kill the Cyclopses like this, they give you PTSD. The second power you get isn't a power at all. Aphrodite is just really jealous of Medusa's Gary Busey's, and wants you to bring her head. Which you do. Go forth in the name of Olympus. You open the door with a ballista, you knock over this big statue, and then you kill some more mythological creatures and cross a rope. And then you realize this game has some really good level design. You talk to a hologram of the Oracle of Athens, who is stupid enough to believe that you're actually here to save her city. My God of War. Now, the next part that helped cement this wonderful game into my brain was less epic and more frustrating. It's not even a fucking puzzle. You just have to freeze a minotaur on this fucking plate and then get through the door. Sometimes I get this puzzle like that. Other times I do this puzzle, like when I was recording it for the footage for this video. Ha! Once you get past that room, you're free to break into some people's houses and swing across this gap until you reach Athens' town square and get... After you chase this lady around and get her key, you fight these zombies with big tower shields that can only be broken by the square triangle combo that you've probably already been using this entire time. You go through the sewers and wind up on the rooftops somehow. And then you're treated to some more awesome shit that I'm surprised the PlayStation 2 can handle. Then I fight some wraiths that were a lot harder when I played this game for the first time because I didn't realize you could just grab the fuckers and yank them out of the ground. Fun fact, there is a block button. This next part is another reason it was cemented in my brain permanently. Fucking music is great. I'm not saying this music in particular is my favorite, but this was the first part that I really noticed it for some reason, and it was just... Next is a puzzle with a ballista. Is it really a puzzle? Then you need to talk to the Big Mac Daddy himself, Zeus.
Kratos, you grow stronger as your journey continues. But if you are to succeed in your quest, you will need my aid. I offer you the power of the greatest of all the gods.
Go forth in the name of Olympus. And then it gives you the worst ability in the entire fucking game. In my opinion, it really is the worst, Tim. Don't hold back. I know, I'm just trying to be nice. Fuck that! I don't actually know if it's the worst, I just never use it. You use Zeus's lightning bolt to kill some asshole that's been holding a lever and keeping a bridge up, and then you destroy some artwork, and then you arrive just in time to see the Oracle get taken away by some harpies. Once you arrive at the Oracle's temple, you meet some crazy hobo who's digging Kratos' grave, which is fucking stupid. Kratos isn't gonna die. He has checkpoints, for God's sakes. You do this neat little shield puzzle to clog a harpy leak, and then you see the Oracle just as she's about to fall to her death. You solve a rather satisfying puzzle, and then you save that ungrateful woman, and then she digs around in your brain and finds out what a fucked up guy who proceeds to dig around in Kratos' brain, showing you more glimpses into just how fucked up he really is. She helps you anyway, and she tells you that the only way to kill a god is to get Pandora's box, which is away in the desert to the east. So you arrive at the Desert of Lost Souls and talk to another statue of Athena, and she proceeds to explain to you just how epic this game actually is. She tells you that Pandora's box is hidden in Pandora's temple, which is on a mountain that is strapped to the back of the last Titan, Kronos. So I mentioned this game is epic. Next you gotta track down some half-naked ladies in the desert and break them in half in order to unlock a door to get to one of the most frustrating parts of the entire game, with this stupid fucking box on this conveyor belt that also tests my patience. I find that this game balances on the fine line of either it's just frustrating enough to make you keep playing it to find out what happens next, or you just smash it and move on. I'm glad I stuck with this game, because the next part, you're rewarded with yet another epic scene where Kratos blows a horn and calls the Titan himself. And then he proceeds to climb the mountain on his back for 3 days. 2 armored Cyclopses are waiting for you at the gates of the temple, along with this hilariously out of place zombie guy. Listen to him.
So, you think you can conquer the Temple of the Gods, do you? May the gods grant you strength to conquer the perils that lay before you.
He sounds like the janitor they just found in the office and like, hey, you want to voice a part? He's like, yeah, sure, I got 5 minutes. In my opinion, Pandora's Temple is probably one of the most well-designed and aesthetically pretty levels, maybe, in any video game ever. A bold claim, I know, but it's just my dog shit opinion. And what do I know? I'm not even a wizard anymore. You enter the rings and pass through a generic spike smashy room and pull a lever, and the rings move. How the f*** is any normal human being supposed to do this? What the I mean, Kratos has already climbed the mountain for 3 fucking days and hasn't died. What is he, like related to Hercules or some shit?
Hello, brother.
2 quick notes. 1. The fuck happened to Artemis? I'm assuming this is probably explained in one of the PSP games, which I've never played. And I know those games are canon, but I'm gonna assume she's dead. And 2nd, I won't be making any Final Fantasy VII references, even though Kratos has a giant Buster Sword, because I still haven't played Final Fantasy. But I will go forth in the name of Olympus. You get these 2 shields that open a door that lead to a very satisfying yet frustrating saw blade puzzle thing, and another generic smashy spiky wall hallway. But this time the floors move. You climb a cliff to get to a room that has a handle that you need. But there's a caveat. The room is filled with zombies that have those tower shields you have to smash with the square triangle move. But the floor is weak, and you can only do it so many times. Once I nearly smashed my controller out of pure rage after dealing with this stupid timed lever saw blade puzzle, I proceed to the challenge of Atlas, which I want to make a quick note about these Greek engineers. Holy shit! You get the skull of the architect's son, which is also a key. Greek architects are pretty talented, but I'm not sure how he made a key to fit a living person's skull. But I am a made-up Greek legend who climbed a mountain for 3 days that is strapped to the back of a literal titan, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. I love how I said made-up Greek legend. All Greek legends are made up. You're a wizard who's lost his powers, Tim. Kratos then stumbles across a pile of freshly dead corpses that reminds him of the man he used to be, which is very similar to the man he is now. Back in the rings, you use the skull for the skull door, not skulls for the skull throne. I remember the first time I saw this big Indiana Jones rolling cylinder, and I looked at it, and from the angle that you see it in the game, it's like, am I supposed to walk on top of that? Yes. You're supposed to walk on top of it. Next, you get to kill some puppies, a few Cyclopses, and some very strategically placed archers. After you kill some more elite undead guys, you are reminded that this game is in fact the definition of epic and legend and Greek. Just look at this. This is on the PlayStation 2 in 2005. I'm gonna kill some minotaurs with my big stupid sword. Now this part. This is what I like to call a fair challenge. You need to get this live man that's trapped in this cage up this slope to sacrifice him to the gods. As you do, but you'll notice there's little outcroppings on various levels of the ramp, and you have just enough time to get to them to place the cage to prevent it from sliding all the way back down the hill, as you need to stop and fight several more of those elite undead guys. It's just fun. All this was to acquire Poseidon's trident so that Kratos can swim. Because Kratos can kill Greek mythological creatures, climb a mountain for 3 days without the need for sustenance. Hell, do all of this without the need for sustenance. But he can't swim without Poseidon's literal trident. It allows him to breathe underwater, Tim. Shut the fuck up. You kill some more dogs, you pull a lever, you kiss some ghosts, you swim through this literal death trap. I love this game. But I also hate this game. You want to talk about clever? Look at this statue of Athena. Look at where she's pointing. You're like, man, what the fuck do I do? And you notice the statue of Athena. Like, wait a minute, she's pointing to the water. Huh. I love this game. And look where it brings you! Oh! It's time for the final ring and the challenge of Hades. Don't worry about that door. Surprise, surprise, Hades' challenge is filled with fire, darkness, and killing things. Specifically centaurs. I hate this game. It's a real shame that this game only has 3 bosses. I mean, for God's sakes, look at this guy. Look at him. Look at how he dies. Fucking love this game. You get the head of the architect's other son, the literal army of Hades, and then you realize that this temple was only made to be used once. I hate this fucking game. And then, for whatever reason, this harpy. This one was sent as a warning. Not the other ones. This one. There you go assuming again, Tim. What if the message was the harpy eating the corpse? You hadn't encountered any other harpies eating corpses. Shut up. But we finally get to see how Kratos got the Blades of Chaos. I bet that hurt. I hadn't actually replayed the first game in like 3 or 4 years. So the upper parts of the temple were kind of cloudy. Completely forgot about this puzzle with the moving blocks, and it's just satisfying. Finally, you get the cutscene that explains why Kratos hates himself so much. He's called the Ghost of Sparta, and is as white as a ghost, because he was tricked into killing his wife and child. And then the Oracle of the Temple fastened their ashes to his skin for the world to see for the rest of time. Gonna be honest, up until this point, my motivation for playing this game was just all the neat, hacky, slashy stuff. But after learning that little tidbit about Kratos, I too wish to slay the god of war. in the name of shit am I supposed to get this box out of this fucking temple? It took me 3 days to... Never mind. And I completely forgot that this is the part where you actually figure out that he killed his wife and child and the Ghost of Sparta stuff. And whoops! There was he wasn't there. He was telling the truth. I'm gonna be completely honest. I had no idea what Pandora's box was gonna do when you open it. Him just growing really big was the last thing I thought was gonna happen. But I guess it makes sense. But it matters not. Final boss time. You murder Ares, the god of war. Athena tells you that your sins have been forgiven, but your memories remain because they can never be forgotten. Nah, you really think the bloodthirsty crazy man that just killed the bloodthirsty god of war isn't gonna take his spot? You fool! In conclusion, this game frustrated the ever-loving shit out of me. Both then
And now.
but in a good way. And like I said earlier, I hadn't actually replayed this game for 3 or 4 years. I still found all the combat, magic, and puzzles to be satisfying and annoying as poopy. But fun.